Lampshades and gerbil milk. Good morning. Welcome back to Curiosity Forge. I am the Curiosity in the Forge. Today's the day I'm finally going to get started working on a hammer. I have a few billets like this that one David Britton was kind enough to send me. I am going to capitalize on that to best possible effect. Everything I know about this process has come from Ting Ting over at County Line Forge and Bob Bew over at B&B. And through talking to both of them and helping with one hammer being made, I think I have a pretty strong grasp of what needs to be done. So, I'm going to fire the forge, and first thing I'm going to do is get these bent to shape to where they will close around the hammer billet, and I can use it one-handed. Once I can do that, I've got to make sure that I can grab the fire bricks and move those without too much fuss, and then it'll be time to go because I've got to, close the mouth of the forge up so I can get this billet yellow hot. And then once I start working on this, my first step is to square the hammer billet up a bit so that I can take measurements, find center, and mark that. So I'm going to go ahead and take care of the tongs and make sure I can move the fire bricks and everything safely. Once the safety is taken care of, I'll come back once this thing is hot and ready for the first smash with the hammer. Awesome. Alright, so this pair of tongs broke right here at this joint. So they are not safe to use. But this pair, now that I've reworked it, will grab that billet, hold on to it firmly, and let me do it one-handed, as well as move the fire brick safely. So, all is not lost. Alright, first heat. Once everything's marked and it's time to start punching. Alright, I think we are ready to start punching. I have marked it to what I believe to be center. If I'm off by a little bit, I think I can compensate one way or another. Let her rip. And I got my 4-pound hammer here. I've got my punch here. And a block of beeswax to lubricate the punch because I'm pretty sure I'll need that after a while. more of the same until I knock the plug out, and I will come back when it's time to start drifting. We're going to find out whether or not this drift works worth the crap. I had to pile a bunch of beads of weld on here to make it thick enough to accommodate a proper hammer handle. It was too thin before I piled the weld on. Ting Ting says he doesn't think it's going to work very well. I am very uncertain. It might not. If it doesn't, I'll find another way. Back in a bit. Okay, I'm pretty sure I'm on the last heat before the plug drops out, so let's see what happens. Hot stuff and a hammer coming through. Oh, it's so close. She blows. I knocked my first plug out. I'm gonna save that bad boy. And now we're getting to the mega sketchy part where I gotta drift it. I'll be back. And moment of truth. See if this thing does any good. We're getting somewhere. All right, I'll come back when it's time to start drawing the cheeks out. All righty, about to start drawing the cheeks out. And since I don't really have a good system for fullering cheeks out, I'm going to make a peened texture cheek and see how well that works for me. I don't see why it wouldn't work. Alright, so we got the very beginnings of some cheeks. I don't know if this, there we are. So I'll be back once more of that's done and I'm ready for the quench. And I'm back. I'm not quite ready for the quench. However, I am on what I think may be one of the last 2 heats for smashing cheeks in. This is working good at creating a reasonably nice texture, and it's starting to give me the shape that I want. Things are looking good right now. I've also got 2 pieces of metal on here so that I don't flatten the cheeks back in when I run the drift in. So I'm getting close, and this is actually going surprisingly well. This is the end result of listening to men that know more than I do about it. And again, huge props to both Ting Ting and Bob Bew, both of y'all. That's the only reason I know enough to get this done. Okay, the cheeks are fairly modest, but they're there. I think I'm happy with that. My next step is I'm going to normalize this in a bucket of ash 3 times, and then go for the quench. So I'll be back significantly later. Alright folks, we are about to quench. I know the camera angle's not the greatest, but this was the best way to catch everything that I could find. Let's do this. Skating a file nice. We've got everything about where it needs to be. So now I'm just going to let it sit. When I talked to Bob about this, he said he quenched them until he didn't see red anymore, and then just let it sit in air cool, and that took care of the temper. So I'll be back when I got a handle on this thing, and we'll test drive it. Okay, we have a hammer. I'm going to go upstairs and weigh this, and I'll come back and let you know how heavy it is, give or take, and then I'm going to fire it up and test drive it. I did a round flat, and I took my lessons from Ting Ting, and I made a smaller flat face than I would have otherwise to help eliminate hammer marks. And the rounding face is a fairly gentle rounding face just to help smash things out in all directions at once. So I'll be back in just a minute. We'll see how heavy this is, and we'll get some hot steel on the anvil and we'll test drive it. Alright, our scale says 2 pounds. So it feels heavier than 2 pounds because it's way out away from the end of the handle.
but this bad boy should be moving really fast when it hits something. All right, I'm gonna get some steel hot. We're gonna test drive this bad boy, and then I'll wrap this video up. It's go time. Oh yes. Okay, let's wrap this video up. I'm very tired now. This thing hits like a dream. It really performs. And I like how oversized the handle is for a 2-pound head. Like, this puts some serious work in. Good Lord. Now, that being said, I do have to stop and thank Ting Ting, Bob Bew over at B&B Forge, and David Britton. Without those three guys, I wouldn't have been doing this today. David Britton was kind enough to send me the billets to learn how to make hammers with. I've got 3 more that I'm going to try to make something out of. I got to get some more handles. And as I mentioned earlier, I learned everything I needed to learn to get this project finished from Ting Ting, working with him and talking to him, and talking to Bob very recently. And I honestly could not be happier with this hammer. For my first one, I think this came out brilliant. And got my touch mark and the number 1 on there. I almost forgot to do that earlier. And I learned a couple things. One, I need to take time to squish these in to get this more of a round instead of oblong profile. And I need to drift it out farther, which also means getting it hotter. I've got to get it hotter and drift it out farther because this handle took some doing to get down in here. I had to shave it and shape it quite a bit to make it fit this hammer eye. And it was such a tight fit that I had to make a metal wedge and drive that down in there and soak everything in super glue. And I'm going to see how that holds up. I'm pretty sure if I had one size handle down on this, that would have fit the eye pretty much perfectly. But that's okay. I cannot tell you how proud I am of the way this turned out. You know, and this is something anyone can do. Anybody is capable of doing this if you just follow the instructions. That's all I did, is I listened and followed instructions and got to here. And this is a big deal for me because making a hammer was kind of one of my bucket list things. I have plans for the future. I do want to make some really exotic, super ambitious hammers with some exotic wood handles, which is going to be great. But yeah, I'm very tired. I'm starting to ramble a little bit because I've been running on this wide open pretty much all day. So I think with that, I know there was something else I wanted to say, but it must not have been that important because I good and well completely forgot. But until next time, praise the forge and pass the borax. Please make safety your #1 priority in your shop. Y'all have a great day. Have a great holiday. I'm sure I'll see you again soon with another knife review. Thank you so much for watching.